Hi guys, this is Natasha, aka Natty Willie, and welcome to another episode of TV Talk with Natasha and Kimberly. And say hello, Kimberly.
Hi everyone out there.
Apparently we're on episode 25.
We are.
Wow, that's a lot of episodes.
Isn't it though?
It doesn't feel like we've done that much, but apparently we have. So we're gonna just review Grimm. Because I feel like we're about to change the format again, because we want to give you the shows that we watch, and if you watch this show, great. If you don't, and if you want to still check us out, great. So we're just going to talk about the latest episode of Grimm. The episode was titled The Law of Sacrifice, and a lot of stuff happened. I say that every week, but yeah, there was a lot of stuff that I was not expecting. In a good way.
I don't know.
Somewhat.
I feel like only one person made a sacrifice in that episode, and it was a sacrifice that asked way too much. And it, I don't know, it hurt my feelings. And I don't even, I don't know. We'll talk. We'll get into that.
Well, let's just talk about it then. We start off with the episode with Prince Victor. Oh no, actually we start off with Adeline and Sean. He's like, yeah, I'm a dad now and I gotta protect you and you need to decide how you want to do this. And she's like, well, I want to be with you. And they had that awkward comment about, well, yeah, you were with my brother and I was with your mom, so
that was really awkward.
I didn't really realize that they were actually together. It seemed like they hinted at it, but just to have that confirmed was like a little awkward for me. I don't know.
Functional.
Yeah, I'm like, he's had the daughter and the mother.
And I like how he's like, stay away from the window, so she goes and sits down right in front of the window, and I'm like, why isn't she listening?
Yeah, I'm like, have you heard of a sniper?
It's freaking me out. I know they're pretty high up, which, by the way, I don't know how much police chiefs make, but...
He's rolling in the dough.
He is, because that apartment was bomb. I would love to live in a place like that.
Well, you gotta remember, he's like a bastard royal, so he's probably got bank from that alone.
Really? Because I figured they wouldn't give him any money. They just disown him and stuff. I don't know. I'm pretty sure the king at the time probably sent him a little bit of money. I mean, you can't just completely ignore him. I mean, just the fact that his brothers, so to speak, were trying to get at him. I don't know. So. I didn't understand that whole dynamic because, okay, so the prince, who was actually his cousin, is running things, and they want the baby because the baby's next in line, so it's like, but it's his kid, so why is it they just completely skip over him, but his kid is fine? No,
because they think it's Prince Eric's baby and not Renard's. Because you remember, Adeline was sleeping with both of them. She was sleeping with Eric, but then she had a one-night fling with Captain Renard, so it was a situation of who was the daddy. I mean, I feel like it's Renard's, but then again, we may be wrong. It may be Eric's, and he's now dead. Although, I'm still waiting. If he happens to pop up, I will not be surprised.
Yeah, we're still holding on hope.
We're still holding on hope for that.
The only reason I assumed it was Renard's is because it's a little too powerful, and so it makes sense that Vesson would cause that versus because they never said if his brother was normal or what, but I assumed he was just a regular human because we never saw him Volga or anything.
Well, if he was a Volga, I'm assuming that he was some kind of animal like Volga. Just because it was a big deal that the king had an affair with the Hexen Beast, and now Captain Renard's kind of like half Hexen Beast or something.
Is that what that is?
I don't know what that. It's supposed to be there has to be a male version of a Hexen Beast. I just can't remember what it's called at the moment off the top of my head, but yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, that baby is still creepy. I wonder why its eyes glow purple of all things, because that's not a Hexen Beast trait at all, at least at what we've seen. So far, it isn't. And
True.
the baby really likes Nick's mom. Like,
Yeah, Kelly Burkhart. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing even a little side story with them because they're actually a lot more interesting at this point than when Adeline was pregnant. I'm just saying. But
Rosalie answered. Well, when that
with
scene,
Monroe.
Rosalie and Monroe,
Yeah.
I'm like, don't answer the phone. I
And
mean,
yeah,
answer the phone, and they answer the phone, and now, like, see, and then they get all this dropped on their plate. I'm like, why'd you answer the phone?
no, it's still Nick was on his way there, so it would have came no matter what they did. So them answering the phone kind of at least made them aware that they were expecting company. How about that?
Poor Nick. Poor Nick. Poor Monroe and Rosalie. They just got dumped into their lap. And so let's talk about. There was like some twists there at the end. I just, I don't know, man. It's not right. It's not right.
I I was interested in how they revealed that Kelly Burkhart pretty much killed Adeline's mom. Even though she keeps on saying technically she's, cut herself with was it one of the mirror
Right.
part of the mirror or whatever. So she didn't really apologize for it, and she didn't even bring that up. All she was there for was a distraction, and I'm like, well, did she really get arrested on account of being the murderer of Adeline's mom, or now I'm confused because was that really a ruse, or did she happen to take advantage of the fact that she was arrested? I don't know.
No, that was planned because
Okay, that was planned. All right, I was a little bit confused with that.
Nick, because remember Nick came into the captain's office and they basically said, "Are you ready for this?" And
True. Yeah.
send them. But what is interesting is like, because you can't just tell like a whole bunch of people in the department to go and arrest this person, but it's a fake arrest. So I think they really arrested her, and now she's kind of on the run, which is fine. Because she needs to be gone, but like still, and everything she was saying to Adeline, and how she's like, "I need you to understand," and I'm like, oh, that's so.
Yeah, I knew that was coming when she said that, but at first, like again, we thought that Renard actually was going to go through with it, even though I should have known that he would think of, or they had something in the works for that. But at the same time, it was kind of like, are you for real? And also just, I loved the scene with Victor and his little henchman in the limo holding the baby, and the baby's like, you need to go. Because she did like a little coffee skull thing, and she's like, you're on my hit list. And I like the name Diana. I thought that was a good Hexabee's name.
Yeah, I like how she took the locket and he tried to look at it and she's like, no. Snap shut. She took it right from Mrs. I want to call her Mrs. Well, it's not Mrs. Burkhart. Was it Mrs. Burkhart? Yeah, it is, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know. That was really cool, but I feel like I'm like, twist, okay, so he gives the prince the baby, which, by the way, that comment from Wu, you have somebody waiting for you, and he, like, reads his name, and it's, like, this long name, like, Prince, and there's, like, 5 different names in there, and he's like, I might have left out 1 or 2. I was, like, rolling.
You gotta love Wu. I mean, he's just...
But, when he gave the baby to them, and I'm like, okay, well, something else has got to happen. So I'm glad they took it, but the result is the same for Adeline, and that's what bothers me.
Yeah, so it makes you wonder what's going to happen with her character now. Is she going to actually look for her baby, or is she going to be pissed again at Nick and co, and is going to try and figure out a way to exact revenge, so to speak? I'm like, you didn't learn the first time? I mean, look what happened by you trying to poison Juliet or trying to mess with Nick. First off, you lost your powers, and then your mama got killed. So I would leave them alone if I were you.
I think they deserve it now. That's like, you just don't do that. They took a child from its mother, and I understand that it is Adeline. That's the worst thing you could do to somebody.
I did feel bad for her, don't get me wrong, because she does love her baby, but she's not, you have to look at the bigger picture. They were going to kill her and still keep the baby. So it does her no good to try and like run away and then find her and then kill her and then take the baby anyway versus her having the baby in a safe place. I mean, it's not like the baby didn't already pick who was going to watch over her. She picked Kelly from the beginning. Like, she had a connection with Kelly since she rescued them way back in Vienna. So it's not like the baby doesn't feel safe. And I'm hoping that maybe she has some kind of mental connection with the baby, so at least she feels better knowing that she is safe and she is with someone that she trusts. Like, I don't know.
I know, but part of me doesn't care. Like, it's a baby. I'm more concerned with the mother. Like, I feel like they could have worked out a different way. They could have taken Adeline with them or something, and it's just like.
Well, I mean, usually Victor would look for Adeline. He already found them in Portland, even though Kelly, like, tried to go on a different course. Like, I don't know. I don't know if her running away would have solved the issue if she still had the baby with her versus someone who knows how to hide, and they still don't know who she is because Victor didn't even know who she was. She was like, who is this? And she was like what do you call it? A factor that you don't really understand yet. And it's like he knows about Nick, he knows about Captain Renard, and he knows about Adeline. So her being like I wish I knew the word for it, but I'll get it. But just the fact that he didn't know who she was, she could have gone off the grid, which she will, with the baby. Like, even if Monroe and Rosalie tried to raise the baby as their own, it wouldn't have flew because Victor and pretty much everyone else knows by now, I would think, that Monroe has been helping Nick several times, so it would have been a no-brainer. So yeah, unfortunately, it had to get done, and unfortunately, Adeline wasn't in the loop. And maybe just the less that she knew, the better, just so that if she was questioned about it, she really wouldn't have known. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I still feel like they all deserve to be punished because they
don't deserve to be punished.
They really do. That's not their decision. It's not their baby. I don't know. There's something that fundamentally sits wrong with me about that whole situation, although I know it's needed for the story.
Well, maybe if it was one of those things where she was like, okay, do what you have to do, but just don't tell me how you did it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and like, what if Adeline, like, because she thinks that the prince has the baby, so what if she goes after they're looking for them? Like, they didn't tell her their plan, so.
I think hopefully in the next episode they'll probably break it to her. I don't know. If anybody needs to break it to her, it's Renard, because he was in on that decision, and he's technically the dad.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. They did her dirty. Way dirty.
Yeah, and the repercussions of that will probably be revealed in the next episode, although it just seems like they're going on another tangent again.
It does. It does seem like they're going on another tangent, which is an interesting one, mind you, because
it is an interesting one.
Well, I don't want to get into that because that hasn't happened yet. But so is Nick's like mother a Grimm? Like, are there just multiple ones? Because I thought one had to pass before another one was created. That's why I thought Nick just started because his aunt was a Grimm and she was getting sick.
No, maybe I think it's just genetics. Like, I don't know when it was supposed to hit him. Maybe it was just delayed or something, just because of how he was raised. And his aunt didn't really expose him to that part of it. Although you would have thought that he would have saw Besson way before we started the first episode.
I'm pretty sure, though, that they said that in the beginning. The reason why is because she was getting sick, and that's why he was starting, because I thought that they said that there's one at a time, and so she was dying, so
in the family? Because it just seems like, well, if that's the case, then why is his mom one? His mom should be one. I think she is.
I know, so I don't understand. Although,
I mean, his aunt isn't. Maybe it must have happened to both of them around the same time, both Kelly and the aunt. Like, it's not. They had to have been Grimms around the same time, so then who had to have gotten sick or died in order for them to be that way? Like, I don't know. Like, some people, I guess, it's within the family, and you can get taught at an early age, or they can hide it from you until you start acting all weird, and then they figure out what it is, and they'll just like, okay, I need to talk to you. I don't know.
I thought it was like the Slayer from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We're going to have to go back and look at that first episode and see.
Yeah, we're going to have to go back just because I don't know.
Yeah, and I wonder if
it's been that long.
I wonder if it's something that they're trying to change that they kind of like didn't think about when they first recorded it, because the storyline probably wasn't planned, might have not been planned out, and then they're like, maybe we can get away with doing this because nobody will notice. I'm interested. I want to go back and see that, because that'll be a factor next episode too, as we can see. Now that I have AT&T Uverse, thank you Uverse, I get to see all the upcoming, like, the previews for the next show, and they don't get cut.
Yay!
I know, right? So annoying.
I'm just like, yeah, I was annoyed too. I'm like, dude, you haven't seen the preview? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, so now I get to see them all, and it's really, really good. So next week it looks like there's going to be another one, so we'll see.
Well, maybe not as far as being related, but just having another Grimm. Because we thought we saw another Grimm in that little intern police sergeant or whatever from a few episodes in season 2.
Really? I don't remember.
Remember, he was impersonating that he was really a Vesson? Like, initially everyone thought he was another Grimm, but he wasn't. You don't remember that?
No, that's weird. We probably talked about it too.
Yeah, we did talk about it. Or maybe it was earlier this season. I don't know. Like, it was.
Oh my goodness, shame on me. Yeah, no, I don't. But have we ever seen the mother like? Have we ever seen somebody vogue in front of the mother and then be like a Grimm? Like, I don't think we ever seen that. But I think she sees them.
No, well, remember when she first was introduced, like, she saw Monroe.
Yeah, I think she sees them, but I don't. Did anybody ever like look at her and say a Grimm? Because now that we know how they know they're looking at a Grimm, has anybody ever said that?
Well, probably at the time he knew that his mom would not have known that he was friends with a blue bot. So I think that was more on his mind versus whether or not she was a Grimm. I think he knows that it runs in the family. So he must have assumed.
Yeah, it definitely runs in the family. Well, then I don't know what this girl is coming up next episode, but
well, she's not like a long lost sister. I don't think that. I just think she just happened to be in town.
And maybe, I mean, because there are times when humans can see them, because Hank, that's how Hank and woo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever been sitting in a movie theater or something, or like on like a train or like something, and looked over and been like, that person's Vesson for sure, I know it?
Not lately. Oh man.
We should do that. Like,
yeah, we should
pass the time in line at con or something. We'll just be like, Vesson, what kind? Right there. At your 10.
Yeah.
We just established a new game, everybody. I'm patenting it. Catch
the Vesson. Like, right? Who's a Vesson or who's a Vesson?
That's trademarked, everybody. Yeah, but I don't know. It was a really good episode, and like I said, there was twists at the end, and I because I didn't see any of that coming. I was like, what?
No.
It's really cool to see Renard and Nick and
it's just
Nick's
so
mom working together, and
it was just awesome to see them working together and just everyone actually knowing everything that's going on now. Because again, like Monroe and Rosalie were like, "Huh? What? That's happened?" It was like catch up on Grimm news. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, it was. It was kind of like they all banded together right there at the end to portray the resistance, and
well, yeah, it was like it was like a two-parter because when Nick and his mom literally really did have to catch up, and Adeline and Renard had to catch up, and now Rosalie and Monroe had to catch up with what just in general what was going on. And just shout out to C. Thomas Howell because he guest starred.
Yep.
As one of the henchmen. Like, I remember him from Kindred the Embrace. Like, I know he's been in a lot of stuff since then, but that's, like, when I first started noticing him. And Kindred the Embrace only lasted one season. It was like a show in the 90s.
I never saw it.
Yeah, it was a good show, and they ended it too soon. A la Firefly.
There was a lot of shout-outs on Twitter for him, so...
Well, yeah, and shout out to all of our new followers. Thank you. Hopefully you'll keep following us and catch our website and our videos and just keep, stay tuned.
Yeah, well, that's a good ending point there, Natasha. So let's just, well, I guess let's say where they can find us all. I can be found at Anime23 or at the Nerd Element, though Natasha tweets from at the Nerd Element a lot more frequently and a lot better content than I do. I've got the witty and the one-liners down to a pat where I'm just like,
Sometimes I just fall flat. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it just works. So sometimes I get lucky. So we'll see.
Where can they find you?
At Willcat12 and also at the Nerd Element. Check out our website, thenerdelement.com. Actually, the next 2 weeks might be a little bit hard for us because there's 2 cons coming up. We got WonderCon, I got Awesome DC, and the following week is C2E2. So, yeah.
Yeah, guys, we might be sporadic over the next couple of weeks. We'll try to bring you content when we can. But it might be a little off the next 2 weeks. Just a warning out there.
Yeah, especially with live tweeting. I don't know if we'll be live. I don't know if we'll have time for live tweeting.
Yeah, we won't be able to watch the shows live, but we will get you the wrap-ups as soon as we can get back, along with wrap-ups of the cons we're going to. So look out for that.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, guys. We will see you next time on TV Talk. Bye.
All right.